Hi guys, happy Diversity Day. My name is Emma and I'm one of the organisers for today's events, which are all about promoting diversity and learning about how we can make Ireland a more tolerant place for everyone. I'm going to speak to you guys about the alt-right pipeline. When researching hate crime, it shocked me that in Ireland, 13% of people of colour experience racial violence. That is double the EU average of 5% according to the EU Agency for Fundamental Rights. What's more is 51% of people of colour say they've been verbally or physically harassed or received online threats for the colour of their skin. That is completely unacceptable. In a survey we sent around LUSCC, 73% of you said you had witnessed a hate crime, the vast majority of which came under the umbrella of racism, sexism and homophobia. Considering this, it is clear that hate crime is a problem in our country. Upon hearing this, I couldn't help but ask why. What makes people commit hate crimes? This is what I found. Have you ever gone online and started watching videos about one thing and ended up in a completely different place? Young people spend so much time online, and algorithms are poised to exploit extremes of whatever they think will keep you there for as long as humanly possible. This has caused an explosion of racist and discriminatory content becoming increasingly popular. We like watching stuff that shocks us, and we are forgetting that increasingly content online can be fabricated. The alt-right pipeline is a term that was coined after people began to notice the amounts of people who become radicalized online. They often start by watching popular videos on sites like YouTube, but quickly fall down a rabbit hole of bigoted propaganda. To show you how it works in action, I tested it out for myself. I set up a new YouTube account so the algorithm didn't know what kind of videos I already enjoyed, and I started off with this video, Funny Game Show Fails, by one of the most subscribed creators on the platform, PewDiePie. This video was entirely innocent. Nothing about it was off. I actually found it funny in parts. Next I clicked on Most Insane Couple Ever. Once again, just like the last video, completely normal, nothing suspicious whatsoever. I went on to this video, Is Cancel Culture Good or Bad? Julie React. A bit more of a controversial topic here, but nonetheless a conversation to be had. This is definitely where things took a far more political turn though. Next I was met with these videos. Comedians call out PC culture. Comedian destroys 3SJWs. And Jordan Peterson, best comebacks. The titles are really eye-grabbing and the videos are highly edited. The algorithm loves these types of videos. They hook people in, and before you watch, you have chosen a side. There's a clear enemy in each of these videos, and this trend is going to continue. Believe what you will about PC culture or SJWs, that's the topic for another day. But remember this, when I was watching, I noticed a trend in how people went about quote-unquote destroying quote-unquote SJWs, and it mainly involved a strategy known as straw manning. Straw manning is a tactic used in debates where one makes it look like they've responded to the argument proposed to them, but in fact have purposely misconstrued it. For example, imagine you walk into school on Thursday and your teacher asks you, "Have you done your homework?" And you reply, "I have done homework many times in my life." You didn't actually respond to her question, but it sounds like you did. The next time you are watching a debate, listen carefully and see if you can notice straw manning in action. Once I got past that, I saw this video made by Ben Shapiro. Take some responsibility. There is no societal racism. You are in control of your life. This is when I realized how dangerous this issue is. I had watched just 6 videos and already we had reached a denial of racism as a societal issue. Since we all live in Ireland, I'm going to bring up how racism is a societal issue here. Compared to white people, people of colour in Ireland are 3 times more likely to experience discrimination when trying to access public services, and 5 times more likely to experience discrimination in access to private services, such as shops, banks and housing, according to the IHREC. The claim made in this video finds no basis in fact, regardless of whatever way you lean politically, just as most of the videos that I encountered after it. For example, Ben Shapiro smacks down Black Lives Matter. It has nothing to do with race. Are you starting to see a trend in what I'm being recommended? The further I fall down the pipeline, the more evocative the language gets, and the more I begin to trust it, what I'm being told, without questioning it. People start thinking, this guy destroys stupid SJWs, right? I can trust him. He knows what's really going on. And I can see the justification for thinking that. Not once was I ever recommended a video that challenged these notions. If you don't get to see the opposition take part in a debate where they're not being strawmanned, how are you supposed to even know what they think? Then we met a new personality, Candace Owens, who says that Black Americans are enslaved by the Democratic Party. She says that Black Americans do all the work canvassing and voting for Democrats, but reap no rewards. There's certainly an argument to be had about how well the Democratic Party in America actually helps the communities it says it does. But her comparison of Black people making the choice to vote and work for a party with their own conscience to slavery, one of the most reprehensible aspects of human history, is not any way accurate or justified. As you can already see, we are in pretty deep, but I have one more video to show you today. Hate Speech Isn't Real by Steven Crowder. This was as far as I was willing to go. I think it's quite fair to say we all know hate speech is in fact real. But these videos aren't completely alt-right. They begin to introduce concepts and beliefs to views that are what I would call alt-light. Nobody who watches these videos is a Nazi or anything, and nobody who makes them is either. But in the right conditions, they can start the journey someone has to radicalization. As you continue to travel further down the rabbit hole, you meet conspiracy theorists like Alex Jones, who disregard facts completely, and then you finally reach the alt-right community, and personalities like David Duke, the leader of the KKK, and Jared Taylor. These people are proud white supremacists who want to create ethno-states and believe that white people are the most intelligent race on earth. You start to be led away from traditional platforms like YouTube and onto the dark web. You lose contact with reality, and it becomes near impossible to remove yourself from the false reality you're surrounded in. That is the alt-right pipeline at its most effective, and it's only getting better at it. So what does this ideology cause? What's its impact on the real world? Let's look into it. Since 2013, rates of hate crime have more than tripled in Ireland, according to the OSCE. Here are some of those incidents. An Asian woman being harassed by a gang of teenagers, most likely all secondary school age, just like us. She was cruelly taunted and pushed into a nearby river, all because she was Asian, pushed into a river because she looks different. That is shameful. This gay man was lured into an attack where he was brutally assaulted with hammers by a group of 4 Dublin teens. He was called slurs and they laughed as they beat him bloody for his sexuality. Here's an Irish mixed-race couple, featured in a Lidl advert, who were subjected to an onslaught of vitriolic hate after Irish alt-right conspiracy theorist and anti-masker Gemma O'Doherty aired her views about them on Facebook. It reached such horrendous heights, the couple requested the ad be removed, so they stopped receiving death threats. Last of all, this is a heartbreaking letter written by an Irish primary school student, Trey Jones, about his encounters with racism. He's only 11 years old. It reads, "My name is Trey Jones. I'm 11 years old. People say I'm mixed race, but I say that I'm black, because I know what people think when they look at me. I'm proud to be black. Since I was a baby, I have suffered from racism, from adults and children who are white. I have been called the N-word so many times. I have been told to go back to Africa. I have been called chocolate-faced monkey. I'm burnt, and little slave boy. These things really hurt my feelings, and I will hear things like this all my life. I wish white people would stop being racist and be kinder to all races." We have seen plenty examples of how biases and prejudice can have very serious consequences, with the Black Lives Matter protests last year, the rise in attacks on delivery workers around Ireland, and more close to home, the results from the survey we put out on Schoology a few months ago. It is clear from the data that this is a major issue on all levels of society, from students right up to government officials. and we obviously need to make efforts to resolve these problems, which is why we have done our best to find resources that you can use to educate yourselves about this and learn how to properly help those who are affected by it. Check out our Schoology post, which can be found on the LUSCC Schoology. It's up to us now to make Ireland a far more tolerant place. Thank you for listening.